Well guys, here we go with another garage renovation video. This one here is part 3 of the tool room video series. Of course, in part 2 you've seen us get the lumber and kind of get things squared away from there. Well, in part 3 is when the actual work pretty much resumes again. So of course, back in our dark little corner here, I dug out my old work light and was able to change the bulb in it. So I got a little bit of light, you know, not a lot, but enough that it should be able to give enough light to see where you're pounding the nail so you don't drive it through your fingers. As well, if I'm needing more, I do have those work lights there. Pretty much, look, you can tell that a guy can, they're not the stand-up ones, but they're the portable ones that a guy can use. So pretty much I'll start by pulling that sheet of OSB and then pulling these 2 sheets of OSB away from the wall so I can get at structure. And once I've gotten that structure, I'll see what it's what's behind there, if it's a 2x4 behind there, or if there's a dead space, if there's a hollow space like between the studs, then I'll have to put in a 2x4 or so I can nail to. And then pretty much after that we can start taking our measurements for our top plate, of course measurements for the bottom plate, and then start nailing our studs in place, and then she'll be good. But you know, with the light here, you guys can see how the rafters are done. You know, they're just a home-built jobby. It even looks like it was done out of old lumber, like lumber that was laying around. So the addition, you know, maybe the sheeting cost money and a pound of nails or something, but the lumber itself is all weathered like it was sitting outside. So when the guy put on the addition, he doesn't look like he spent a lot of money. Well guys, gonna get out of here, pull the OSB, and see what we got behind her. Okay, so I pulled the 2 sheets of OSB off the walls, and of course I've already done the exploration on this side by cutting away the plastic. I left, I guess it really didn't matter where I cut the seam, because I'm going to end up tuck taping it either way, but I chose to cut it on this side of the 2x4 because of the acoustical sealant. I can still tuck tape right there and it'll be basically fine. So of course in behind here you have your insulation. You know, I installed this insulation myself, whatever it's been now, 6 years ago when I did this, this part of the job here, or renovation, whatever you want to call it, back then. Now it's kind of time to give it a change up. So by pulling out the insulation, you can see what kind of shape the wall is in. No new rot or holes or soft spots or nothing. So what I'm looking at doing is pretty much throwing another 2x4 in, we'll say somewhere there, so our wall can nail to it. Now on this side here, like I said, I had to cut the plastic. However, on this side there seems to be a joint here where 2 pieces of plastic met. So I should be able just to work it back and get where I need to be at that joint. Now of course the acoustical sealant may meet you with some resistance, so what you'll probably end up having to do is the same thing on this side as you did on the other wall, is trimming this plastic back and then tuck taping it. If you were dealing with a house, if you were building a house, you would tuck tape around each one of the boxes, as well as tuck tape each one of the seams, as well as sometimes some people even go as far as actually tuck taping the staple holes too, because in essence what you've done here by poking holes in it with staples is you're allowing the moisture to penetrate the wall, which basically defeats your whole purpose of putting vapor barrier up. However, the same thought on the other hand says that a house that is too airtight ends up with mold issues. So you know, there's kind of two schools of thought that you end up with, depends on who you talk to on what day, right? But just looking at the seam here, guys, I'm probably just gonna cut her just the same way as I did on the other one here. Just running your knife pretty much just straight down the plastic. And once you've scored the plastic, you should be able just to work it and pretty much peel her back, just like unwrapping a I don't know, Christmas present, if you will. And once you've got her peeled back, you can see the insulation again. Pull it out. Of course, don't throw it away, just set it aside for now because it's not damaged, it's not hurt, it's been dry, and we'll put her back in. So now we can see our structure we want. We can throw our measurements now for our top and bottom plates, and then pretty much put our nailing edges in, and then away we go. Well guys, got a bit of a check-in here. Well guys, I've got my top and bottom plate cut, as well as my double plate here cut too. I've come to the discovery that my garage is about 1 inch taller at the top than what it is the bottom. So basically the wall, if you will, leans out about 1 inch. So I'm not sure if it's that whole way all the way down, if my garage is leaning toward the you know, toward the side a little bit, or if it's because when they built the addition here, it was done you know, kind of backyard type of building. Looks like I'm gonna have to build the wall standing in place, stick build it standing in place, rather than building her in one piece and standing her up. Because if the wall is wider at the top than what it is at the bottom, it's going to be wider to stand it up, and I'm not going to be able to do it. So basically what I've done is I've got my air compressor fired up with my handy dandy Porter cable framing nailer, and what I'm going to do is put me a helper 2x4 right there to hold that end of the top plate in, and then probably do the same thing on this side, put a helper 2x4 in to hold the top plate in. And then of course I'm gonna have to throw a little bit of measurements off of the back wall here, just to make sure everything is square, and then I can nail it in to where I want it to go. But all in all, guys, things are going fairly well. I had an idea in my head as I was talking, possibly maybe I'll build the wall section in 2 pieces. If I take my 2x4s there and measure out where I want the studs, and then basically cut the wall section in half, I should be able to build it outside in 2 pieces, bring it in, stand each half up, and then each half should match up with the corresponding half, in theory. But all in all, she's going good so far. A couple little planning issues, a couple little things we have to encounter as time goes on. I was gonna pull the electrical there and run new plugins, but I think I'm gonna leave the plugins in that wall up because they are fine. I might tie in another run of plugins off of this one here, run it up the ceiling and over to power this bank of plugins right here. But we'll have to see how things go on that. That's not a plus or a must or whatever you want to call it. It's just one of those things that's going through my mind right now. But I'll get my helper 2x4 up there, and then you know, kind of keep going. Okay guys, here's the measured out wall. Of course, this is the bottom plate of the wall. We have 1 foot here between the wall and the first stud. From the first stud, of course, this is a 16-inch mark, but I chose 1 foot, which I'll explain a little later. Of course, then comes the door to the tool room. You have the king stud and the jack stud, and then of course leaving in account a 36-inch door and room for the door jamb plus 1 inch of shims. You know, I like to leave a little more than what's recommended just in case. Come over here, you have the jack stud and the king stud again, and then another 16-inch on center stud, as well as another 16, another 16, another 16, and then of course the stud for the end. Now what I've done is I can't frame it indoors inside the garage on the floor and stand her up because of the wall being leaning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right here next to the king stud in the doorway and basically effectively divide this wall into 2 pieces. You know, that being 6 feet, which is actually that side of the garage is the straight wall, and then this being whatever 5 foot 6 inches, and of course that being the wall that's out by an inch, half a bubble. So then what I'm going to do pretty much is I'll have to build this wall accordingly, leaving either leaving a gap all the way up and then cover it with sheeting, or just gently leaning out that outer stud so it still matches up with this edge here and this edge here, but still remaining true to the garage, you know. So of course I've got more room to work outdoors, and of course I've got the tools and everything set up for it, so I might as well cut the wall in half and stud her up. So guys, we have all of our 2x4s measured. I'll throw you on the tripod in fast forward mode, and we'll give them a cut. So now we have them cut, we can start our nailing them together. Okay guys, so we have all of our studs lined up, got our top and bottom plate where we want them to be, sorta, and we're going to start nailing. For those of you with on your earphones, turn the volume down a little. This might be a little uncomfortable for you. So here we go. Well guys, there you go. Got the bottom plate all studded. Now I'm just gonna pretty much move you guys up, and we'll do the top plate, which is way up there, of course. So we'll get you all set up and we'll do it all over again. Okay guys, so we're all ready to nail on the top plate. We got everything good to roll, so pretty much here we go again. Well, there she is, the completed wall. Of course, this is like 6 feet by 7 feet, and there is no door opening or nothing in this one. And pretty much this was the easiest wall to build, of course. It's just straight wood together. The next one with the door opening has the over top of the door there to do, and a couple other little figurines. That's sort of why you keep your blockings, because they do come in handy. And you know, kind of keep on figuring from there. So we'll get changed out here and get set up for the other half of the wall section. Oh well guys, got the wall top plate, bottom plate and studs all laid out. They're not as Bill's T Max would say, glued in place yet, but they're laid out. Just getting a feel for the wall, what she's going to look like. Of course, this is the section here that's closest to the, let's call it the leaning wall. And then we have the big door opening, of course. You got a 36-inch door, and then, you know, the door jamb kind of makes for like a, almost a 40-inch or so hole. And, of course, as well as you're missing the jack studs out of there, so that takes up 4 inches too. The jack studs I can put in place in the garage, in the wall. One, because it just adds added weight to the wall that I have to move by myself. And two, well, I'm not 100% sure how short I'm going to make the door. Because, of course, we're dealing with a 7-foot wall, and the door itself is right around 7 feet, because it was an oversized, tall, special order door. So I'm going to shorten the door probably 1.5 feet or so, and make about a 6'8" or so opening. Might be off of my measurement there, because just guesstimating. But I'm going to throw you on the tripod again, guys, and of course, you know, with earplugs, make sure you turn the volume down again, because we value our hearing. Well guys, got the door section, wall section framed in. As you can see here, we have the studs in place. Got the almost the full length of the door. I guess it was only a 7-foot door. I'm gonna have to take off whatever 5 inches or something off the door, which makes it like 6'8" or whatever, which is quite sufficient for me. You know, my outside door in my garage is whatever it is, 6'7" or 6'8", and it works good for me. So yeah, we have the wall section framed up here. What I did for the header is, the time I got the full length of the door in, all I had was a 2x4 space anyway. And rather than cutting those little tiny blockings to put in here, pretty much, you know, like one there and one there. Anyways, I decided to pretty much like one there, you know, one there and one there and another one there. Anyway, I decided just to make the whole thing one solid piece of 2x4. I'll have scrap anyway left over, so it really don't make a difference. I left one of the jack studs in, of course, and I left the other jack stud out. Why, you ask? Well, because remember I cut this wall in half to join with that one. So this one here, I left the jack stud out so I can run nails to join them together. So guys, I guess the next step is to get them inside the garage and test fit them and see if they fit. Well guys, I wrestled her in the garage here. I got the wall section stood up, and kind of gives you a bit of a idea how big the tool room's going to be. It looks tiny, but at the same time it's really only going to be holding my tools, so therefore it doesn't have to be very big, now does it? It's more there for, you know, organization of the tools than anything, and to keep the air compressor from rattling your brains out while you're out here working. So, but of course this wall is up here, sort of half centered on the 2x6er. I'll throw some measurements before putting you know, nails in there, and of course the concrete anchors or nails, whatever I'm going to do in here. But it's looking fairly good right now. I have to wrestle in the other one and stand her on up beside her, see how she reacts. Got to pry out the little helper board there like I did on this side. And then if she all lines up good, then we're pretty much good to nail the whole wall section together. Of course, I've got to throw another 2x4 here to give this structure to nail to. But, you know, like I said, she's all good. She's all going well. And we'll keep on rolling. And I'll give you another check-in when we have the other half stood up. Well guys, I guess we got the walls standing. They are just standing in there. They're not secured to the garage at all. I'm just gonna probably get them centered here on this 2x6. I got both halves up, and she's pretty much good to go. I'm just in the process here of doing a cleanup. I think I'm going to shut her down for the night. Well, because, well, if I don't, I'll keep on going, and pretty soon it'll be 2 in the morning, and either I'll be tired for work tomorrow, or the neighbors will call the cops, or both, or whatever's. But I'm just, you know, thinking about other things to do on this wall and stuff, and just keeping on going and all that good stuff. But, like I said, all cleaned up for the night. I'm gonna probably shut her down here, and you know, stay tuned and watch out for part 4 of the shop reno. So as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.